The Rustbolt Resistance needs you! Repel Mechagon's forces and help put an end to his machinations.
G'day ladies and gents, welcome back to me playing World of Warcraft. Now, I'll apologize straight up. The last couple of days, I've been meaning to sort of get on and sort of stream, but bloody, I hadn't been feeling terribly too well, so I gave myself quite a long break. I am still watching the Race to World first. Method hasn't started their day yet, so I am just going to put it on again over top of my mini-map, so just give me a moment.
There's like three, so you know what you're looking at that's causing these problems. It comes down to basically three factors. Assuming you're going to be able to kill the Echo of Fear and the Echo of Delirium. If you've taken care of that DPS check, it comes down to three moments. It comes down to the moment you pop out into the first Manic Dread overlap, and then the explosion that follows it. This is why we were talking about earlier, we saw the Shadow Priest change from what we saw in earlier pulls, where he was kind of just popping out wherever, and move over to where the actual raid was, in order to pop out into the barrier, into the darkness, into, you know, making sure he's within those defensive cooldowns, and of course the splash healing that will come from the AoE and going on there. A little bit different on the end here, so you might say, yeah, but Mike, he didn't pop out in the middle in that position when he came out later on. Intentional again, he's going to die. The last thing he wants to do is take away any healing of anyone else. The role they have assigned the Shadow Priest, a little different to Method, where they had Xaylia intentionally killing himself in order to move around so he could heal the rogues and etc. They're doing a more dangerous version of what they were doing with Vikland. So Method had Vikland going up to about 12 stacks, and then coming out into Dispersion, Pain Suppression, all these kinds of things in order to keep him alive and let these Hysteria stacks fall off. These Hysteria stacks are what the players are getting who are staying in the Delirium realm. What they're doing with this Shadow Priest, I think is intentional actually, because he has a Soul Stone already, as you can see up here. I think it is an intentional play, is they are saying stay in there as long as possible and pump.
And by the way guys, even though I haven't been streaming for the last couple of days, I did log into World of Warcraft fairly quickly and just did a couple of dailies while I could, and I have this far to go before I get flying. Only 500, I should get this today.
So they can take advantage of getting these massive damage buffs for longer than anybody.
At the moment, I cannot fly.
Blizzard probably expects them to go in and then come back out. But they can use combat resistance.
What you're saying makes a lot of sense about, for instance, you know, giving the Shadow Priest a Soul Stone. He needs to be putting out as much damage as possible, and that's playing into the strategy. And the way that I can kind of feel like and back that up is that the marksmanship hunter. I was sat on the couch yesterday with Moose, and he plays a lot of hunter, and he was saying that marksmanship has two forms of execute. They have the above 80%, and they have the below 20%, right? And below 20%, their aim shots do 50% increased damage, basically, and I think they have a massively increased critical strike chance, something along their lines. But he was saying, overall, because EM gets their execute, or that improvement of damage, from 35% and lower, overall BM's amount of damage it will do from when it can begin to execute.
Oh dear God.
But what we're finding here, that the most clutch moments is sub 15%. And that's when execute really get the most value from. So bringing in the marksmanship is making it so much damage at that point in time in the execute phase that to get to that point they're just trying to maximize damage earlier on to what they're losing in the makeup that the BM hunter would normally bring over the marksman. So they're coming in with the marksmanship hunter later on and just landing big aim shots time and time again, popping cooldowns to, you know, true shot and so forth to enhance their maximum amount of damage as possible, to the point where that's just kind of their strategy, it feels like.
And also working that into, alongside that, the Echo ads. They're going to be regular at full health. He's got to deal with two of them. They have to die in super fast fashion. You get your hunter down there, big crits, big damage to get it to below 80%, and then when it's going into the execute, it's taking full advantage again. As you saw, they had no issue clearing those ads at any point. And this again is that Eastern twist that we see in raiding. Because if we were to ask most people in this room right now, they'd be about 100 who'd like it's BM or nothing, right? For the most part. Even if they'd be very rare that you would see MM Hunters. I don't think we've seen anybody play. I don't think Roger's played MM at all. It's the only Hunter we've seen in the Method roster so far. And I believe a version are also using BM Hunters. And again, it's that Eastern twist that we do see on raiding. And it's something I found fascinating over the years because it shouldn't work in a lot of cases. And it does work. You know, we see an Outlaw Rogue in here.
Yeah.
We do
Just
see
got that one.
in the Queen's Court, which is we know is a massive DPS check that takes place in Rage and all that. We saw a Resto Druid coming into the light. All these elements are what we see when we do get to watch the Eastern Guilds and bringing them to the spotlight and saying, this is the kind of stuff that is going on. And once again, we're about to experience that insane class fantasy. If you're not sure where our Shadow Priest debuffs are, this is Novback is his name. If you're not sure where they are, they're actually in between his player frame. Obviously, he's white from the priest. You can see his health bobbing up and down. And the actual boss frame that he's DPSing. You can see those 11 stacks of Hysteria he has there. And the Time Warp debuff as well.
Yeah, you can see that there, yeah. And it's a good...
It's a strange place to have it, because I keep looking up here, but it's actually the spells he's just casting.
It is really good, because I picked up on the location of that a couple of pulls ago, because I was kind of wondering where it was, and I was looking up there as well, so thanks for pointing that out.
It does overlap, though, which is triggering the hell out of me.
Yeah.
When he gets Weakened Soul, it's going over his own player frame.
He needs to kind of bring those frames a little further apart, and then it's perfect.
So he's taking pumping amount of healing, actually, because of the 12 stacks he's got with 5 seconds remaining. They are pumping a lot into keeping him alive, but you're also seeing on the damage meter the results they're getting by enabling that, allowing the action. It's the same thing that they were doing with Big One, is allowing him to go to crazy stacks. The risk is we need to pump a lot more healing into him. You've really got to blast him and keep him alive. We saw pain suppressions, dispersions, and so on and so forth to mitigate that. But the results are obvious. Right, the results. It's a 10k DPS gain on one of your Shadow Priests. Right, 10k damage per second is no joke.
By the time you said that, they've done an extra 40k damage.
Well, it's essentially soloing the ads for them, and we have seen that for GT on Hong, ads have been a problem. That's why we are seeing the Outlaw Rogue. I think did that Warlock actually die? I think we saw a Warlock die in instant res, but I can't be sure on that, guys. Which may mean we might be down a battle res. We do know they'll get one more later, so they might be okay. Yeah, they still have one. But 4 minutes remaining, so I think that Warlock did die, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what we're seeing is the Outlaw Rogue and the Shadow Priest are essentially just taking care of the ads, and what this is doing is freeing up everyone else to blast the ads. Now we're in that first one. We're not going to get hyped just yet. The Echo of Delirium is at 20%, the Echo of Fear is at 22%. Plenty of time on the cast. They've got 7 seconds remaining, which is going to be a nice, easy clearance of those, and now they're going to blast the boss. And now you've got a Shadow Priest who is absolutely going to go balls to the wall and stay in this Delirium realm as much as humanly possible.
And he still has that Soul Stone as well, and this is all part of the plan, right? Just
this is all it.
Get it sub 20%, use the Soul Stone to come back alive to continue doing damage, and the Marksmanship Hunter will come into play there in that execute range, and hopefully have enough damage between whoever's left in the raid to close the fight out. Yeah,
and you can see his focus here isn't just boss damage, he's dotting the ads. So he's basically, the role of Novback here is single-handedly to take care of all the ads. He is going to die now, which is fine, that's all intended. You can see his Soul Stone is ready. This is all part of the strategy. As unfortunately the rest of the raid does fall apart, but what they have here is these two, the Outlaw Rogue and the Shadow Priest, are basically making it so that everybody else can just go as full single target as possible and ignore the ads. They're a non-factor in the fight for them if everything goes to plan and the rest of the raid doesn't explode due to the Manic Dread damage plus Hysteria stacks, which is what is easily the most difficult overlap the guys have to deal with. I mean, you've basically got to have your entire raid using their own personal cooldown, bark skins, etc. On top of being inside a barrier, an aura mastery, all this kind of stuff is what is needed to keep everyone alive during there. And it only takes, as we saw from Zaylia actually, Zaylia gave us the best impression, is that he's the man putting down the barrier. Of course he's ready for it, so he drops the barrier, he's got the cooldowns up, and then immediately from full health was just blasted into the ionosphere. And just looked at the screen like, there's nothing else I can do, right? There's nothing. I need an extra shield on top of that to survive this.
I like the ionosphere. That was
Have you been there?
Yeah, a couple of times. It's a good place to hang out. There's no but it caught me off guard. That I was like, like it.
I've been reading books to increase my vocabulary.
You have to when you come where you're from.
Boss go down, do damage.
Big damage can bar.
Yeah, the boss got spelled bad. That's going to be my commentary. Yeah, that's my Azshara commentary this afternoon. Fish lady go boom boom.
Okay, that you were talking about the Outlaw Rogue and the Shadow Priest at that point. You know, they're devoting a lot of their resources into doing a lot of the AoE damage, so the majority of the other classes can just focus on single target. And I just wanted to point out that everybody, thereabouts, that right, everyone has some kind of cleave one way or another, but you know, this is single target rotation, and these things that are just raw like cleave rotations, and it was all above 50k.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that in single target damage is equating to a lot of effective damage onto that bot.
Single target. Okay.
Yeah, so alright, not 5k off either side, and it's still good damage, right? You know, sitting at 55k, it's still 50k. It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's big damage, and it's also skewed. Again, we can't really read much from a damage because it depends who's in the Delirium realm. They're getting massive buffs because not everybody. Sorry, I should choose my words more carefully. But plenty of people are going to end up in the Delirium realm at one point or another. To pick up that extra damage buff. And we do say single target, but if you think the warrior isn't going to go and pop an execute on an ad right next to him, if you think demon hunters passively cleave anyway, there's nothing they could do about it.
Yeah.
Right? They're just and there's a rep paladin.
Yeah.
They've only got one button. It starts with a D and it ends in storm, right? They've got only one button in there, so that rep paladin, I guarantee you, is not being like, well, I'll only single target here, because I don't think so.
Hang on, right? Hang on. Come on. Give a little credit where it's due. Templar's Verdict is not bad.
It's not bad, but it's no bad storm when it's adds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely D-storm? Question mark? Yeah, so yeah, it's more a case of, but what it does do, and this is the important part, is when you do have, say, assigned people, like those will take care of the ads. That's their priority, right? Because they're going to be doing. You've got the Shadow Priest who's just going to be sending apparitions by the army into all these ads, like an unstoppable wave of them. Oh god, everybody's here. I didn't even notice.
Spoiler alert, it's kind of like the great battle of Winterfell in Game of Thrones, where the army of the dead just kind of crash.
Kind of
Winterfell.
Crash and fail in one night.
Yeah, exactly, basically.
What a long night that was.
I know, right?
About 8
I
hours.
couldn't see nothing, it was just black.
It's just
I was
a dark
watching it on a computer screen, right, online. So that's, that's not even the best quality as it is.
I think we're poking the bear. We're poking the bear. Spoilers, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
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 But you are correct. I mean, it's a case of what it does allow you to do it when you've got people assigned that way. Is it does free people up to change talents and things. To say, right, yeah, of course we want a little bit of cleave going on here and all that kind of stuff, but you can change talents to pure single target, and essences is a big one, because some essences you put a group together. I don't know if you've seen the Mythic Plus essence, the blaster is really, really good for killing ads. It's very, very good at it, but is it necessary? And this was a big conversation that guilds are having with Ashbane, because you do have people go into briny bubbles, and having this big blaster is very, very cool to get them out of it a bit quicker.
How opportunist.
Because we're losing single target damage in some cases, and that's where you'll see people say, and this is why damage reels are kind of useless, because people will be intentionally not damaging things because they're supposed to kill that thing. Right. They're not supposed to kill the other thing. Somebody else is dealing with that. In this case, the outlaw. Right, we're getting to that point again, Daz. Are you ready to go into Zakul some 50% again?
Whoa, that reminds me of the guy from Gladiators, back in the day. Remember that TV show? I do. The presenter.
I remember Wolf, Hunter, Cyrax,
Storm. Oh yes, Storm.
Let's lean forward.
Let's lean forward.
If we're leaning
before
forward,
the too much is revealed.
We're getting there. We're getting there. If we're leaning forward, we're absolutely getting there.
Okay.
This is the setup phase where the guys will be disappearing and dealing with the summoners, which we know is a big part of this fight. Is they go in there, deal with 2 of the summoners, leave 1 alive. This is intentional. Look at there's the apparitions. If anything, guys, you can appreciate the apparitions.
I want a roll Shadow Priest just to do this encounter, just to feel how awesome that must be.
I have had a Shadow Priest friend of mine spawn so many at once, it lagged my machine. it was pretty incredible to see in an island expedition once as he unleashed the full fury. Oh, he's just double checking it. He's playing it safe as he's got to bob into the Delirium realm. Don't hit me, don't hit me.
That felt close to me.
That felt close. Now he's going to start his, essentially we can call this a ramp up. And as you can see, right on, just directly next to the right-hand side of his frame there, as you can see these Hysteria stacks going up. He's got a 2 above it now. We expect him here to get to about 14 before he dies, which is all part of the plan.
Yep.
It's going down. They're melting the first 2 ads with a really good time left. They're finished. Oh, in fact, they're a little delayed on one. They only got 4 seconds left. I spoke a little too soon there. Giving them a little less boss time to play with on this one, but they're still in great shape. Like, as long as the ads die, it's not a wipe. We're good. Yeah. We are golden on this one. So our Shadow Priest is now ramping up as much as he can, and essentially him and the Outlaw Rogue, the Outlaw Rogue, he will not stand for this. That's, let me tell you. That Outlaw Rogue is about to have a very bad day. A very, very bad day. And he's intentionally, you'll notice his movement here, guys. This is really cool. Is he staying near the center? This is purely intentional, so he's not going to be taking up any of the space or any of the benefit of when he dies coming out into the group. He wants to stay away from everybody and just also taking the glory of his apparitions just flying in there. Yeah, it's really cool.
I was just about to say, it's nothing to do with the strategy. He just wants to see that.
He does just want to see that. So he's going to die relatively safely. There it is. He did get to 13 stacks this time, not the 14. Max unlock. You're going to be fine, dude. Just run. There you go. You're going to be fine.
Insta power word shield.
Yeah, insta power word shield. As we get ready for the final psychotic split that is about to begin. And this is it. This is the big point. This is the one. They've got everybody alive. They're in good shape. They need to kill the next 2 ads. And then they also, and this is the point. Here's the 2 ads. You can see the 2 health bars that have appeared on the right-hand side. Once those die, they all need to come out of their respective realms, which is the Fear Element and Delirium realm, into good cooldowns, right? They need to do that. They have an Aura Mastery, but they have a barrier ready. They have Rallying Cry and Darkness. So all players need to come out to that. 4 seconds remaining.
It's looking
60%. No, it's not. It's not Daz. Yikers.
Damn it.
Just didn't quite have the damage there. That's very strange. I wonder if somebody maybe misaligned a cooldown, and this is a fight where literally if you misalign a cooldown, that's it.
To be honest with you, you distracted me when you said look at the ads on the right-hand side of the screen, because normally what I try and focus on is to make sure if everyone got into the realm or not. So I didn't take a look at that, so I can't confirm or deny. But likely, the typical thing that what we've seen is where other players have been failing, like Method, and probably even Limit there as well, is if someone doesn't get in good time. And that's the main issue, because you lose so much damage every second that you're out of there with that increased amount of haste. You know how much damage you're losing. You're seeing these guys pulling out 80 to 90k DPS at times. So you're losing essentially, if you get in there 2 seconds late, 180k damage, which against those mobs is a significant amount of damage.
They have a lot of HP. It was actually the reason that Method did break for their splits was literally those ads. It was no other reason. If everything went absolutely perfectly for the Method boys, I mean absolutely perfectly. Yeah. They were finishing it with about 0.1 second left on the cast.
Right.
It was that close, which is why they were like, we need to
I don't have the item to stop that.
We're really risking everything on being perfect every single time, and maybe even some lucky crits going in there, which can make a difference, especially when we're looking at some of the essences, like Vision of Perfection, for example, which can randomly proc you into your main DPS cooldown. If you're relying on something like that to happen during that window, you're not in a good place.
Yeah, but then at the same time, if you're going in there, you're going to be holding your cooldowns for that. So whether you get that Vision of Perfection proc or not, then you're still going to have your cooldowns up.
It does depend on the it depends on the cooldown. Some of them are like 2 minutes, some are like 3 minutes, and they happen way too often to reliably be held for both. Right. So I'm talking from Method's point of view, where they were barely scraping it, where they may have been relying on a little bit of a bit of favour in their way in order to get that done, which is why they broke the splits, to eliminate that exact issue happening. Which is like, why did we make it with 1 second to spare before?
You can't calculate around that, can you? You
can't rely on
splits, but that's the entire point of holding the splits until you absolutely need it. Granted, it wasn't in the ideal place you wanted to, because obviously everyone would like to do it before the last boss, but it definitely wasn't wasteful. It will be proved to be effective because we got the boss down. I'm trying to hit a lot of big words now after hearing you and your ionosphere before.
Word of the day, toilet paper. That's how I get through the commentary days. Word of the day, toilet paper. Brought to you by Ionosphere.
Just trying to outmatch you here, but I just don't think I can.
That's how
I need to go online and Google the biggest word. Actually, I know the biggest word.
Don't say that, Welsh town.
No, no, no.
I don't have a
Come on.
target.
I mean, actual word.
need to
Actual word.
target something.
Don't want to do it.
You know
I don't
the
have a target. I need a target.
Don't fact me. You gotta. No, I don't.
It's pneumono, ultramicroscopic silico volcanoconiosis.
Do you
I'm
have it?
out of range.
No.
Good. I have cream.
You can go and check that out, guys. That's
I
actually
need to
true.
target
Yeah.
something.
That's my party trick.
What an awful pie. I completely.
That's why I don't go to parties.
I was never invited back. I did my one party trick, and that is it. GG's for me. Oh, we are hoping and praying that before the end of our cast, guys, that we really get to see GT on Hong pull this out of the bag, because I will be as happy as anybody to see US, EU, and China claiming the 1, 2, 3 spots on Azshara. I don't think we could ask for a better race, honestly, than having the entire globe represented in one form or another. In fact, having said that, where are our Australian boys? So we were very impressed with, honestly, an ethical earlier in the beginning of the tier, but they did only kind of push heavy in the first couple of days, and then they had to go back to the real world, unfortunately. But during those first couple of days, Daz, they were impressive. Maybe the world 3rd and 4th spots, I believe they did.
Really? That
Yeah.
well? I didn't expect that, to be honest with you, because, you know, talking about saying, you know, guilds who are weekend raiders or whatever, or they can only raid not quite as often as guilds such as Method and Limit and so forth, you wouldn't expect them to be able to compete just baseline, because if they can't put in the amount of time to raid, then it's likely they can't put in the amount of time to prep as well, right? So if they're going to get a lot less prep work done, they're not going to be going in there as equipped. So to see them still coming that high up in the rankings, that's quite pleasing to me. You know, to see that it's still
Very
possible.
pleasing. And in fact, this tier has been raising discussions, Daz, and I'm not sold on it just yet, that due to the nature of the Benthic gear and the amount of power we're starting to see now, a sort of unprecedented amount of power from just leveling your necklace, because of course all the brand new Essence system comes in, actually increases with strength with your AP level. And we're seeing already skews of several thousand DPS between people who've got a couple more levels. I mean, that much, yeah, certainly. In my guild, one of the, especially at the level 60, where they get heroic item level and they get a significant boost. So my necklace on my Moonkin is 58. Another Moonkin in my guild has the 61. Despite very equal gear, he is 3,000 DPS above me, which is just like, that's just from the necklace alone hitting that level 60. And there's been some argument going forward that maybe it's better to focus on one character this time around.
Maybe he's just a better druid.
I mean, there's that. But it's a sim, so whether the sim has like...
okay, I thought you meant you was like sat there on, you know, and he's like, he's doing more DPS than I am.
Make sure you tick the bad player box. I want to sim my character, but sim it for like crap play. What if I'm bad though? It just says, are you bad? To tick the box.
Oh yeah, you put it on privacy mode so that the internet doesn't say that you actually clicked bad. Don't tell anybody about this.
It's down at the bottom of the right hand side, so you can sim your numbers, but it'll just say, are you bad? And it just like flat adds 10k. So you can show people your fancy sim. Really good. Don't say rogue damage, this is a special case. I do try my best to make it clear that when you're looking at an overall damage meter, that is nothing to read too much into anymore. It's actually some of, as we said, it's some of the most useless information we can provide you. If anything, the information it's showing you is what roles these guys are taking. And if you missed us talking about it about 20 minutes ago, we've obviously been joining the stream. The Outlaw Rogue, which is present here, and the Shadow Priest basically have the role of managing all of the small adds on their own. And they're taking huge amount of stacks. Obviously the Rogue can cloak it. They're taking as many stacks as possible in order to take the adds out of the equation for the rest of the guild so they can blast just the boss, just the echoes. We're getting to that point.
Getting to that point again. I've just sat
Moving
back.
to the front of the couch.
Oh,
come on, boys.
Goodness.
We want to see the kill.
These are giving me a bad back going back and forwards.
I like the
getting
teeter. I like the teeter that we're doing here. I like the teeter. So, yeah, we're going to swap to Method just after this pull. We'll see one more, so this better be the kill, boys. That's all I'm saying before we move to Queen Azshara with the Method boys and some fresh casters.
Come on, guys, show your
for your
support for
face.
JTH right now.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it down on this attempt.
He's at 40 stacks. If he can make it to 15, this is the longest he's ever managed to do it. He is doing it. So this death that's coming up here from Novak is intentional. He's at 15 stacks, 16, he's still going. He is pumping it as hard as possible. 17, he's doing it. He's going. He's got to die now. There it is. He's got to die right there. That was incredible. That's 3 more stacks we've ever seen him get. What is his DPS right now? 87k.
Boom.
DPS.
Wow.
Unlock. He's back up. There he is. So he's rocking and rolling. He's doing the best he possibly can. Now here is the final psychic split they need to survive.
That's just going to take
Look
too
at
long.
those health bars on the right-hand side, guys. You can see them going down. We see the Echo of Fear is at 50%, while the Delirium Echo is at 60, and they're melting in good time. They have 12 seconds to finish this off. The Fear ad is going to be dealt with right now. They have 6 seconds to do 20%. They should be good. Now they need to survive this when they come out. There's going to be a Manic Dread and an explosion when they come out of here. They absolutely must survive this. Here it is. There's the Manic Dread. They're leaving it on the Shadow Priest for now. That's fine, while everyone else is under DPS cooldowns. I believe somebody is dead. I think it is one of the warriors. But they have 14% to go. They're going to be pumping as hard as possible. And we can see our Shadow Priest is going to be heading back into the Delirium realm so he can gain yet more haste in order to pump this boss as much as possible. We're at 13% Daz, but this does not mean it's over, guys. It does not mean it's over at all, as so much can kill these guys. They are focusing as much as possible. They still have to, and this is why he's gone back into the Shadow Realm. They must take care of these small lads. They cannot forget that this is a part of the fight. It is not possible. Did he just dot his friend? I think he might.
I think he did.
No, he didn't. It was an ad. Thank God. They are at 10%. And the Shadow Priest and the Outlaw Rogue's job right now is to take care of these small lads so they do not become large and have to be dealt with, so the rest of the guild could do this final 7% on this boss. We're at 6%, Daz. This could be the moment we've been waiting for.
This is it, chat. Is this going to be the time?
Were we here?
Right here. Were you here? Looks like it could be, but anything could go wrong at any point in time now. Sub 4% pre.
We're at 2%, and the Psychotic Blast is a good distance away.
Maybe the dream is going to be real.
Oh no, with 1% remaining, they don't make it.
Are you kidding me?
They do not quite make it. They had a couple of DPS dead, 1.5% remaining until, and the ads are back, and they must defeat the boss before that third Psychotic split. And the ads just appeared. The boss goes immune. There is no way he can take any damage, and thankfully, I can't do it anymore.
They are literally at the point.
They're so close.
Today now, 1.5%.
I'm just going to pretend they killed it.
Yes, it's
done. GT on Hong joins.
Whoa, don't say that. People will get confused.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. And now we are moving to Method, who are doing their first pull of the day on Queen Azshara. It was so close, guys. They are down, guaranteed to kill that very soon. We wish them all the best here. It's been a pleasure casting them most of these mornings. An absolute pleasure that me and Darren have had the opportunity to cast them and see some of their World 5th kills, World 4th kills, and now potentially World 3rd kill. They are just having a stellar time. This is a fight that you guys are going to be spending a hell of a long time with. As we can see, Scope's dead, as well as many others. They're just getting warmed up here. But me and Darren, it's time to go.
It is pretty much.
This was our last cast together, pal. It was great. I had so much fun. I had great
buddy.
fun.
Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in.
Get close. Oh, baby.
Come on now. There's cameras around here, there's eyes. Okay, but before we go, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been showing support for Save the Children. You guys are absolutely awesome and so generous. Thank you so much. And a final shout out from me for today from our sponsors, Corsair, Twitch, Fanbyte, MSI, Runtime.gg, Discord, and Secret Labs. And without anything else to be said, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to watching us. And we'll be right back very shortly with some fresh casts.
I need to get closer. I need to target something first.
Oh, I don't need the flame turret.
Surrender or be destroyed.
I don't have a target. I don't have a target.
Welcome back to Method's Race to World First, where we are taking on Azshara. It is that time. Method have just started raiding for the day, and we are ready, they are ready. My name is Falcone, this is Feisty. How you doing, Feisty?
Pretty good. Really excited to cast today's raid.
I'm excited to cast it with you. So far, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, best pool, 75%, which isn't too bad for the first, I guess, evening's work. They really weren't doing this for all that long so far. 26 pulls. Limit's best effort, if what I've seen is correct, is 52%.
Yeah.
So they're a little further, but they have had a whole extra day on this.
Yeah. So Method has come to this part faster than Limit has, but I also think that Scribe is a bit more prepared on this fight than we probably were on Taboo, and that's why they can pull ahead. But also, they have also had the time to see how Limit has done some of the early stages. So I, in general, think that Method is really prepared for this fight. So we are going to see them catch up to Limit really, really fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very much a back and forth, hasn't it? Like, you know, Method pull ahead on this fight, Limit watch them, copy their strategy, then Method pull, then Limit pull ahead, and then Method are going to take a look and copy their strategy. Like that's how it works. It's a race that everyone's got to take every little bit of advantage that they can. But now is sort of where you could argue now is where the race actually starts. Because the end boss is nothing like the other bosses in the raid. And to be fair, Ashvane, Orkazoa, and Zakul in particular have all been really, really tricky. They've all been walls of their own. But this one, this is going to be something else.
It is. And I'm really looking forward to see when they progress to phase 3 and maybe phase 4. Maybe later today, because then it's just going to be a nuclear explosion of abilities getting thrown at them. So
we are just well, we're on ready check. I was going to say we're at Scribe time, but we're just waiting on Victor and Kana to get ready. And we're going to be seeing pull 27. Now, for those of you that haven't been following Azshara, and I know most of you will have been watching these already. You know we get new viewers in all the time. And this is a long and complicated boss fight with more entries in the Dungeon Journal than any fight we've ever had in World of Warcraft before. The first phase is about the two. I'm going to explain it like Trekkie first explained it with me. It's like two lovers that love each other, and then they hate each other, and then they love each other again, and then they. It's very weird.
It is, but it's also quite a funny mechanic. So, and we're gonna see here in 5 seconds that these two ads are gonna spawn, the two lovers, boy and a girl, and sometimes they have a painful memory and they need to get separated so they don't bump each other. And sometimes they are longing for each other and you need to bring them closer together so they don't get this
Right.
attack.
They also both have their own sets of attacks that are important.
Yeah.
8th Infernal has an attack which you need to interrupt at all costs. Serranus has the spear, which you just saw there, shoot through. If it hits part of the scenery, it does really wide damage, so it has to, the player that's been targeted has to sort of maneuver themselves. Firstly, they have to dodge it, secondly, make sure they go out into the abyss.
Yeah, exactly. Just straight out into the wall. And yeah, you also see this other ad that's Hulk spawning, and that just needs to get burned down. That actually goes to one of the platforms and wants to destroy that as well. And right now we see this ability called Divide and Conquer, and that's a laser beam that splits the raid into.
I'm so
That's mythic only, isn't it?
Mythic only, yeah. It's gonna be really exciting to see that spawn during the fight.
Yeah, apparently, I mean, I was talking to Bay last night about that, and he was saying that the further into this fight, we haven't seen it yet. Apparently, it turns into a proper Resident Evil style laser grid.
Exactly.
And we are very curious as to how that is going to look.
Yeah, so in phase 4, this Divide and Conquer will spawn, but there's also going to be a lot of other beams, so it's going to be tiptoeing around everything on the screen. So. But right now we're still in phase 1, and we got these ads, and we see again this Hulk spawning. It looks like the tanks are doing a good job by LOSing the ads when they need to. This spear needs to get thrown into the water whenever it's cast, because right now there's nothing you need to cast the spear on. Besides this, Azshara is also casting this ability called Beckon.
Okay.
And she charms a random player and forces them into the middle. And if you get into the middle, you get into a blob that everybody needs to DPS down. And that's just a huge DPS loss, because you want all the DPS to go on the bosses.
So your range DPS needs to be standing right at the outside so that they never get to the middle before the back end.
And we see here they stack because we're in the first intermission. And the reason why they stack is because then it's closer to know if you need to stand still and stack with others, and if you need to run around, you just run.
Yep.
And if you need to soak, you run out and soak. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
It's too far away.
I can't imagine doing this boss without any weak auras, because
they are soaking up the orbs, presence exploding, and now the fight begins.
And we got Azshara.
Azshara is on the board.
Yeah. And it's gonna be amazing to see how they're actually gonna do here on the first Azshara fight now, because for just the first pool they didn't get to Azshara. We see a rogue dipping a bit low, but get back up again. Yeah.
Worth noting, those little purple pools that you're seeing on the ground.
Yeah.
They were dropped from the lovers in the previous phase.
Yeah.
And they stick around for the rest of the fight. And I'm particularly interested in how they are going to interact when all the laser beams, or you know, the laser grid starts to happen. Are they going to get in the way? Maybe they need to be in very specific locations. I don't know.
Yeah, and we can also see, Kana just died because the laser beam just spawned and wrecked him.
Spawned on him?
Yeah. But we've seen Limit put the pools in a bit different location than Method does. I don't know if they just place them randomly, but on Mythic these are gonna stay forever. So it's gonna be fun to see how they're actually gonna do it, and that's also why they lost it in the first phase, because the faster you can get through the first phase, the lesser pools you're gonna have throughout the fight. And also that means that Lost is gonna be back up later to the fight.
Right.
Yeah, so they can Lost again in phase 4, which is definitely needed.
Okay, the next big mechanic that we need to talk about at some point, while it looks like, they're wiping.
Yeah.
So I'll bring this up now. It's the wardens, or the runes, around the edge of the map. The 3 big circles, which are having their power, wards, sorry, which are having their power drained by Azshara through the fight. How do they work?
Yeah, so the base mechanic is that Azshara wants to depower these. If one of these wards gets down to 0, it's gonna explode, and everybody is gonna die. So basically, she cannot drain it all the way down.
Yep.
So she goes to the middle at first and starts to depower it. And you can power it back up by standing in it. And then you get a debuff that decreases your health by 10%. And it stacks up until 10. And 10, it's 100%, so you're dead. So the basic rule is don't get too many stacks, and if it's possible, tanks should not soak. But we'll see how Method does it. So the tank needs to kite Azshara around just to get these wards down at
an even pace, yeah. The problem is if you get too many stacks, like more than, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something, you start to get to that point where you just get one shot by Azshara's abilities.
Exactly.
And you can't have that. Simon has donated $10 for Save the Children. Let's save the children and kill the queen. There you go. Thank you very much, Simon.
Yeah, so we're just getting now. It's gonna be fun to see how far we can go this time with 75.2.
I don't actually know how long Method were awake for last night, but given that they've started quite late today, they must have been 2 or 3 in the morning on this fight.
Yeah.
27 pulls, that's a lot for Method.
It is. And I just spoke with Scribe when he got in, and he said that he went to sleep at 4. So I guess, so he has been planning strategies until now. And I think he's gonna try a lot of different things out during the day, and especially later we're gonna see some of the later phases how they're actually gonna do it. So Method just buffing up and getting ready for another pull. And it's fun to see these intermissions where the decree is coming in, like how hard is it? And we saw the first intermission, Method did it flawlessly. No one died, no damage was taken, so that was perfect. But in the second intermission, which is at around 70%, there's also going to be ads as well. And normally you can pop Bloodlust there to burst it out, but since we used Bloodlust at the beginning, it's going to be fun to see how Method is going to do that. But on the first base, they did really well on the decree, so let's see.
We're seeing that ready check up soon, but while we're just waiting around for a second, there's going to be quite a lot of this over the next few hours.
Yeah, it is.
I want to give a little shout out to our amazing sponsors, Runtime GG. You've seen us on the cast couch drinking these things throughout this week, and that's because they do provide the needed energy that we want. They're not an energy drink, they're a performance enhancing drink. That means they don't spike your energy levels with sugar. They allow you to maintain your energy levels for a long period of time. Runtime also offer a bunch of other projects. We've got these OP shots, which really do give you an energy boost. These are, I always drop these when I do that. What's wrong with me? They give you a nice little boost there. And they also really improve your focus. Behind us, we have these Megabyte protein bars, which are very, very nice. And over there, you can see, when we're on full cam, you can see the meal replacements, which are great too. Runtime GG, a very health-orientated company. And if you head over to the Method store, not the Method store, the Runtime GG store, use discount code Method, there we go, got there eventually, you'll get a 10% discount and you will support the guys sat behind you. So, if you fancy it, that is what to do.
Yeah, so we have pulled 28 now, and just if we look at the comp, so last night they were using 2 disc rates on Holy Candle, and today they have swapped one of the disc rates out for a restaurant. And I just spoke with the players, and they told me that the reason why they are swapping to a restaurant is because they have a easier time with the LOS healing if they hot everybody up.
Okay.
And they can LOS, they still got some healing going in, Yeah. We see again this divide and conquer beam. Kana still lives, so
Well, that's a good start. Good old Kana.
really good stuff.
I'm just glad Kana is playing now and not casting. All week he's been sat here saying, I just want to do the raid, I just want to do the raid. And now is Kana's time to shine.
Yeah, let's see that. Especially with the Princess channels. Let's see how that goes, because again, if we talk about the combat pit, there's some differences with Limit, and again, Limit is at 52%, and we just saw a tweet from Limit that they are looking for male users for the split runs, because it looks like they're gonna spend time gearing up their hunters and also their shamans for the upcoming reset. So we might see some more splits going on for Limit. Again, we see this big Hulk going on to one of the wards. It needs to get stunned ASAP, otherwise it's gonna do the smash. And we saw that it actually almost took like 25% of the ward's health. So you really don't want this Hulk to do anything other than just to run.
Nope, exactly. I believe it can be crowd controlled once, I believe, and just the only once. That is one way of slowing it down routinely. What you want to do just to prevent it from getting to that section. As you see, Serana, they're losing a lot of health here, getting kind of low. I think we're going to have this situation, you know, 200-300 pulls in, where the Raiders feel kind of the same way about this fight as about Zakul, where Zakul had this long sort of tutorial first 50%. It's like, now learn how the Fear realm works, now learn how the Delirium realm works, now we've mixed them both up. And that was sort of where the fight really started. I feel like we may have the same thing with Method, where they might just get bored of doing this phase over and over and over again. I feel like it's probably quite frustrating that the actual fight. And don't get me wrong, like
Kana just died again.
Oh, Kana. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool mechanic, but like again, after hundreds and hundreds of attempts, it's gonna get quite old.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw this in VOD as well, that when they were spending like 3 days on Jaina, there wasn't much casting to do on the first 80% because we have done that a long time. So when they finally hit like 20%, there was a lot of casting going on, because then it was new and fresh.
Good old Twitch chat. Benched Kana trash. Kana for love. We actually got a donation from Kinderborg, $20. God save the Queen. Wait, Kana is actually playing? Then they should get this. Hashtag Method got this. There you go.
Yeah, okay, so we see here in the first phase there's lots of ads spawning, and they are running to the middle because Azshara wants to depower the middle one at the beginning. And they want to AoE them down. Kana died, and our rest of the group died as well. Maybe Kana died because it did too much damage and Scope wasn't ready for the aggro, I don't know. But again, right now they are trying a lot of stuff out to see how it actually works. But there's a lot of AoE going down right there. And talking about comp classes again, it's I know a lot of guilds are using at least one DK to grab the Hulk back at least if he gets too close instead of stunning him.
Oh, is that correct?
Yeah. But also here, when all of these ads come, you can use Last Grid and just get them placed in one area. Yeah. And we right here again, and what?
It's hard to tell on Jinji's overlay, but you know, it's not anything spectacular. It's no better than 75%. That is still their best.
Yeah. So again, we are just figuring out how we're gonna do with the first phase or the second phase. So we're gonna see this phase a lot, and then there's gonna be the second intermission. Then phase 3 is gonna start. It's just about learning all of these things.
We just got a donation. Is Bay here? Because Bay would really want to read this one. Tell. I'm going to have to go ahead and read it myself. The Top Lab $9.99 told me to read this in a dramatic voice. Tick-tock. Daniel could feel the clock ticking. The seconds went by slower than ever. If only lunch break would end, then he could escape to the safety of the classroom. Daniel preferred the angry grammar teacher over Dave. Rolling animation. And it's true. I'm just saying, it's true. No teacher will do that. Anyway.
Yeah, and we actually see Roger Brown topping the leader here. I know that the leaders don't really count too much on a level like this, but it's good to see that the hunters are actually on top here. And I don't know if that's why Limit is using right now. It's 4 hunters, I think they are using, and 5 warlocks.
I'm out of range.
Limit has a lot of hunter mains, so maybe that's why. And again, maybe it was just because the others were dead. I don't know. And yeah, Deep Shades told me instead of playing Destro for this fight, which actually has more burst on the cleave fight, especially for the beginning, Affliction has more self-healing and a bit more burst when it comes to AoE, and that's why. And he also has the best Azshara pieces for Affliction, so that's why they are going for Affliction.
Okay. You know a few of the players personally, is that right? The Danish guys? I know you mentioned that you'd interviewed Gingy before.
Yeah, so Denmark is a small country and we know everybody by name.
Everybody in the country? All right. That is a very small country.
Yeah, exactly. I spoke with Genji earlier this year regarding his MDI. Even though he didn't win, he was still relevant for us to talk to. And we just talked about his upbringing and who he is behind the name Genji, who Mike really is. And it was a fun talk, and yeah, and he's a really cool guy, and it's a pleasure to meet him in person. Not as big as I thought he would be, but...
Oh, really? God, what were you expecting?
Yeah. So I just saw Avengers, so maybe I expected the new Hulk.
You just saw
Nah, he's a really cool guy.
As long as you didn't expect the old Hulk.
No, yeah, no. And also about Danish players, Denmark have a lot of professional esports players in League of Legends,
yeah,
and also Hearthstone as well. But we also have a lot of Danish-only guilds out there, and we have a top 3 right now, which is Superbia, Bird is the Word, and yeah, the third one, Revoke, is all 3 on 3 out of 8 right now. And the funny thing about this is some of the guilds are only raiding like 2 days and still keep up a high level, because when they raid, they focus on raiding and not too much talking. And I think that you can go around being a hardcore guild with only 2 days if everybody is just prepared.
So you're saying they don't raid to make friends.
No.
They raid to take down bosses.
Yeah, but they actually also make friends.
That helps.
Yeah.
Someone's put in chatting caps. That's my guild!
Oh, okay. Hello, Superbia.
Okay.
So, but again, having a Danish-only guild, Swedish-only guild, Finnish-only guild, it just sets a limit that you cannot invite everybody, and it can be hard to recruit the best players. And we have actually seen good guild, both the Finnish guild and also Danish terrorists earlier in some of the earlier expansions.
Right.
Really being up there, being only one nationality. And we also see them break down. And I think it's because it's hard to keep finding players of the same nationality. So, but at least they try.
What are they waiting for? We're probably on the scribe time right now. Okay. So I don't know, you haven't arrived a few days ago when
no.
Public. But Friday night, Saturday night from 3 p.m. until I think 3 a.m., something like that, we had, the bar was open, people were coming in, no one was coming further than where the players are sitting.
No?
But it was very, very busy, it was very, very lively, it was very, very noisy, and it got to the point where Scribe wasn't able to concentrate. And he said he couldn't hear himself think. So he had his PC move from where the other raiders are into that soundproof room over there.
Also, he's in there.
So Scripe is actually on his own in this little soundproof room, and so that's where Scripe time takes place.
Yeah, the players behind us are, it's Sko and some of the other DPSs.
Yep.
And we had also Salia there before, but I can't.
How about there? Maybe he's on the bench. Oh, he just arrived actually.
Okay.
Literally just appearing now.
Okay, so he's a bit late, and maybe they're gonna kill him right now. Yeah, he just looked at us. And
I'm hoping that he wasn't here because he was on the bench and that he was not needed right now. Okay, a little bit anxiously. I'm sure we'll find out one way or another.
so maybe that's why they have a rest recruited, and because he wasn't here. But it makes sense to have a rest recruited as well. Yeah, so there's also a lot of Swedish guilds out there. Fat Shark, yes. I don't know if that's completely Swedish or if it used to be, but again, guilds with one nationality only has a big problem, and but at least they're trying to keep up with the rest. It could be fun to see some more of these guilds to actually compete. And again, we are pulling, and we have the first phase going on here. The lovers are getting separated and put back together, just like in real life. When you're mad, you need to go away, and when you miss her, call her back. We're pulling, quite high DPS actually. We see really our boomkins doing a lot of work, and they're sticking with 3 boomkins, and Limit was only using 1 boomkin last night, 5 warlocks, and 4 hunters. But I heard that they are swapping it up a bit, like putting at least one more boomkin. You see the pod going over to the ward. It gets its ground pound off. Yeah. And it dies now. So there's so many things going on in this fight, and it's really hard for a raid leader to call out where the DPS needs to focus, because you want the lovers to go down, but you also the Hulk needs to get down ASAP, otherwise it's gonna ruin the debuff rotation.
It's a learning experience, isn't it? This is why these bosses take so many pulls. It's because they, maybe they'll learn something from 32, and then from 33 onwards they'll do a certain part of it in a specific way.
Yeah.
Maybe then in pool 54 they'll learn, oh, actually we die if you're there at that point. You need to be there, and they'll like that. And they'll improve even further. Like it's a long learning process. These bosses are hard. They're meant to be hard.
Yeah. And again, we see this weak aura. It says group and run. So basically he knows you need to go to yellow, where everybody who runs group is.
Right.
And if you didn't have that, you need to look at the small debuff you get over at your minimap and see what you needed to do. So that's why weak auras is basically essential for fight like that.
Right.
We got Azshara back in phase 2. Just completed the first intermission. It seems like Method has the phase 1 and the first intermission all wrapped up. So
yeah, and again, that's why I'm suggesting that it might be a little bit frustrating for them. Like, they kind of wish that they could now just practice this phase.
Yeah.
If there was a way for them to just practice this phase while skipping the first phase, and then when they mastered that, if they could just practice phase 4 without having to go through the first 2 again. But unfortunately, every time they even get to have a go at the later phase, they have to go through all of the first 2 again. And this is the kill, says COD in Twitch chat. I find that quite unlikely.
yeah.
But maybe.
Let's hope.
Anything can happen.
And
right?
Kana died again.
Oh, never mind. Anything can happen, including Kana being killed by a laser beam. But yeah, worth pointing out the... Oh, actually, I'll save that for a moment. The wards, they're being powered up by deep shades by the looks of things. That ward.
Yeah, so this debuff you get from standing on a ward, it lasts 2 minutes.
Yep.
You can see it called Brain Soul.
So that's the one with 4 stacks that the deep shades has got, right?
It's this one with the 2 minute on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a 4 there.
Yeah.
I couldn't see that. Yeah. So, and in general,
Bingo.
you shouldn't go higher than 6. And I think in Mythic,
I am
4 is
overdoing
probably
it
a
so
good
they
point.
keep.
Okay.
So when I
Because, like
actually
you also said,
create the item, it
the
keeps
abilities
them
is gonna
in their
hurt,
spot.
like like a truck. So
And they don't disappear out of my bag
This
somewhere
might well be the new
ridiculously.
best, though. We're down to 78%.
Yeah.
Down to 78%. Only one dead so far.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm wrong. There's quite a few dead.
No.
You can say I'm being special or pedantic.
6. Let's get a
Come on, new best. Let's
Is
go.
it-
A little
is
bit more.
it?
A little bit more. I was here.
5.
Yes.
Go.
Yes.
74. Right now, 74.
Hey, we
New
got it.
best.
We got it. We were here. We were here, feisty.
Perfect. Yeah, and right now, Method is just gonna try to push the boss to 70% where the next intermission is.
Right.
And so they can try to deal with
That's right.
the tree and also the ad spawning.
That's why you see the bloodlusts and the cooldowns used at like maybe some strange times when they're trying to get to know the fight, because Method are not trying to kill the
This
boss
makes
right
me
now.
feel
They're
so
trying to
much
get to the
better.
next phase so that they can learn it, and then they'll keep trying to get to that phase, and then they'll keep trying to get to the phase after, and then when they are ready to kill the boss, they sort of have to reset, start again. Right now, what strategy do we do to actually get to the end and still have those cooldowns available?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when I was raiding in TBC and we were on a boss, and the only thing we did was the first phase over and over and over again. And I didn't really agree with our raid leader, not trying to push it over, but she just wanted that phase to be perfect. And right now we see Method is trying to push us into 70%, and they're gonna get there because it's small mistakes like Kana dying. It happens.
It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, and they've got a long time to do this. Again, Limit, they're pushing 50% now in the last run. They're not likely to clear this boss anytime soon because it only gets harder and harder and harder, and Limit are making fantastic progress, but it's still going to take a long time. Method, now they're going to need to do whatever they can to try and catch up.
Yeah.
But regardless, it sounds like pretty much everyone has agreed this boss is not going down until the reset.
No. I spoke with Deep Shades and Genji before, and they didn't count on it. Of course, it can happen because right now it's a really mechanical heavy fight, and maybe into phase 4 we're gonna see that okay, we need more DPS, more healing, and you actually need that extra gear. But right now it's just a mechanic, and you need to learn the fight, so it can happen. But I don't really expect it to get down before the reset.
No.
And when we talk about the reset, it's gonna be fun to see how Method is gonna lead during this. Are they gonna extend, or are they gonna get the gear? And I think everybody here expect us to actually re-clear.
It'll be interesting to see if these bosses are as challenging the next time around. Like, how's Ashvane? How's Orgazoa? How is Zakul?
Yeah.
Is taking Zakul down again going to be another epic saga?
Yeah.
It won't take as long as it did the first time, sure, but it might still take 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 pulls.
Yeah. So they could extend the logout, go on a split run heroic, and go back in.
They could do that, yeah.
Because spending a long time again on Zakul, yeah.
But it depends how close they get, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Like, if they get Ashvane sub 3%, then sure, I guess they might say it's worth extending the lockout. Although past experience with Limit would tell you that's still not the correct thing to do.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard because I'm just glad that I'm not sitting with this decision at least. So we're just getting ready again.
Right, you can get that done really fast if you got a flying mount.
Has Elia been added to the guild, or to the group, or is he still? I think he must be on the bench. I think that probably explains why he was running a little bit late as well. Like, it's not as important for him to be here on time if he's on the bench, and you don't want to annoy your teammates by being late.
No.
They're trying to get ready to fight the last boss. So I expect that he was on the bench the whole time.
Oh, and we actually, I just saw that now, we actually see that both our tanks are monks, and they normally had just wait on his warrior.
Oh.
Yeah, so they swapped that as well, and I think it's just so they can actually survive for longer on their own. Yeah, I don't know why they made that swap actually. every other guild out there is going 2 monks, at least in the higher level. So.
Someone in chat said, so by my calculations, 1% per 1% per pull progress. In about 71 pulls, we'll see a kill. I don't know if it quite works like that. Your math is on point, but
we're gonna do that, I guess. So pull 100 is almost it, I guess.
Right. Sovak at $11.22. Why do Kana and Deep Shades look so alike? I don't think they look anything like each other, personally. Maybe that's because I've been with them in person last week. But
regarding other guilds, we just saw Preach and then the casters before us.
Yeah, Preach and Darren, that's right.
Yeah, Preach and then casting the Chinese guild, and they almost down to cool as well. And I think there's gonna be a lot more pressure depending on how many guilds get cooled down before the reset, because changes can happen over the reset. Blizzard can hotfix some smaller stuff, and they can just learn from what Limit and Method has done, so they can get up to speed really fast. So I really hope more guilds actually get to Azshara before the reset. And again, we're just coordinating the last couple of things.
I love all of these markers that are just appearing one by one on the map there, obviously indicating certain actions that the players have to perform during certain phases. See, this is why it's nice to have Kana on the bench, because he could come and tell us what these symbols all mean.
Yeah. But yeah, like you also said before, they have figured out new stuff, that they need a marker for disability. So if you get hit by this, you need to run over here.
Yeah.
So again, at 70%, we're gonna see the second intermission where the ads are gonna spawn, and it's gonna be really hard to see how they're gonna deal with the spear gonna be thrown out. Because right now you just need to get the spear away from everybody, but next phase it actually needs to hit at least something.
Just boss fail fish. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, just die less, kill him more, do better, generally, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so the best raid leader I ever had said, okay, this boss we're gonna pull, we're gonna kill, and we're gonna loot. Any questions? No. We just
the guys behind us started to, they were getting really tilted yesterday. Just wiping to pull over and over again. And then at some point during last night, around 10 p.m., one of them, I think it was Gingy, did like some war cry before they started. We just heard them roaring. And I'm not kidding, I can't remember if it was that pull or the pull after. They then wiped it out. So sometimes all it takes is that little bit of mental athleticism there.
So someone in chat just asked if we could interview Celia while he's not on while he's on the bench, and I don't know if that's possible.
We let the players come to us if they want to join the cast.
Yeah.
Gingy's been on something else. These guys aren't here to cast. They're here working.
Yeah.
They're raiding. If they want to have a break on their break, that is totally their prerogative. You know, like it's not like I mean, they are here to play video games, but it's not like they're just here to play video games. You know? Like it's hard. It's draining.
Yeah.
And if Zelia wants to take a break and then come back later on into the raid feeling very fresh after he's had some time off, that's probably for the best.
Exactly.
We don't want to get in the way of that. Kana, on the other hand, he enjoys being on the couch. He enjoys being interviewed. He enjoys casting. So for him, this sort of is a break.
And it was also very clear that they weren't going to use Kana for that specific fight earlier. And right now, Celia is such a good player that, of course, they're going to use him at some point, I guess.
Martin Creek, just kill her and take the loot. I don't understand the problem. No, Martin, you're here. You're local. You're in Craftfield. You get in here. You do it for them, then. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Get your mouse where your mouth is.
Yeah. So you start the encounter by interacting with this console, and the pull timer goes down, and you just press accept 3 seconds before you actually want the fight to start, and we are on.
I don't have a target. I
Alright,
need a target.
here we go with Scribe
I need to
Cam.
target something first.
Mastermind himself.
Scribe Cam is very cool because I like the damage taken by spell that we see at the bottom of his overlay.
And this is also what a real raid leader should do, at least. Like, really know what's going on instead of just looking at the damage and the logs, because there's lots of other stuff going on.
I don't have a target here.
So again, let's see when the big guy spawns just here. He gets stunned immediately, getting burned down. And they're actually saving Lust as it is right now. I think they want to push to the second intermission, so they're saving Lust for a later part of the fight.
Yep, makes sense. If this part of the fight is easy enough for them now, they don't need to waste the Bloodlust. They may as well save it and use it at the difficult part to get to the next phase, because they just want to see more of it, to be honest. I was going to say the downside is the more they see, the more Limit gets to see through them, but then Limit are already ahead of them, so if anything, they've been watching Limit, and they're going to be using... I mean, let me rephrase. They haven't necessarily been watching Limit, but friends of the guild will have been. They will have people that have been up watching their stream through the night, messaging them, telling them the strategies, and they've got friends that live in North America, etc., etc. Like, the network that both Method and Limit, and Pieces, and the other guilds have, it is quite vast. And they've all got friends across the world, so they will know about the Limit fight, not having watched them, but through what they've been told.
See again, another Hulk spawn gets stunned instantly and just gets burned down. Last time we actually saw that it reached the ward and got some damage done, and yeah, it just died just at ward. So they're optimizing each pull, and still no bloodlust. So definitely gonna try to push into second intermission and phase 3.
Somebody's asked to Method wear the same shirts every single day. No, they actually have several, and I remember that being a thing early in the week because it was like there wasn't easy access to a washing machine here, so the players had more shirts provided for them with their names on. So no, they are not wearing the same shirts. And then since then we have found access to a washing machine, so they have multiple shirts, which they're rotating through whilst washing the other ones. These guys are hygiene. Method are a healthy hygiene.
We see here in this first real intermission with the decree, all of these markers are used for a reason, and we see here again the intermission and the decree isn't really the problem here. They got that sorted out. Azshara spawns, and we'll see how it goes. She goes straight to the middle and tries to power that one down. Yeah, and it's...
There's also the middle ward,
yeah,
which gets added in here, which she's trying to power up.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite. It's literally just the opposite of the other three wards. Works the same way. You stand on it, you get the drained soul debuff, but you just don't want that one to power up too much. I don't believe it's quite as high a priority as the other three, which result in like an instant wipe if one of them runs out of power. But it's an extra thing to juggle in this fight.
Yeah, and some in chats says that they are using the exact same markers as Limit does, and
maybe they are.
Maybe they are, and I think maybe Limit used the same tactics on court or something. But that's what you get when everything is live streamed. There's no rules on it, so of course if it works, why not do it?
Yep, it's all back and forth. Everyone's sharing information. They don't really have much choice.
No.
The only real way to make the race completely fair and avoid that would be everyone streamed on like a 5-day delay. That's just never going to happen.
But it also makes it quite fun to see what are the other doing, and it's also going to put on the pressure. And I think that Method last night was very, very tilted that they couldn't get the cooldown.
Oh right, before. Yeah, but quite happy after.
Yeah.
But yeah, and one of the Method players was saying before they wish there was more creativity. Like they almost wish that that they could copy each other just because it would lead to more creative strategizing and more different varied ways of taking on the boss. But in the realistic world, everyone is always going to copy the Gilberts. That's just how it works.
Yeah. We see a couple of deaths. Slow just went down, got into the rest up. Still got 2 deaths. Again, they're just trying to push it to 70%. So we can see the second intermission.
70%. All right, there you go. Easily the new best. They go 3% better than the one before. So at this rate, the boss will be dead in no time.
And people are still dying, and we got the decree. Second intermission, and they need to soak, and they got Azshara running around.
Keep moving and stand alone, and and everyone's dead.
Yeah. So now they tried that, and we got 67%.
Like, great, we got to attempt that for like a second. Let's go again and try it again. No, that was a really good pull though. 67%.
Yeah, and we saw here that they just wanted to see how it actually was, and they hit 70%, and it took a while before the decree started coming in. And
Yep.
I actually expected it to go on straight away. But
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think they did too. And now they know that there's going to be a short delay, so maybe they're going to focus on where the tanks or where Azshara is going to stand during this phase, so they can actually intermission perfectly.
Just to point out, Queen's Decree is a little bit different in Mythic to how it is in Heroic.
Yeah.
In Heroic, you can get up to 2 decrees simultaneously, but in Mythic, it's up to 3. That's just absurd to me.
It's absurd, and during this decree, if you get 3, you just need to be really, really awake, because otherwise you're gonna die and you're gonna wipe the raid. Because if you get 3, you either need to run, stand, and choke, or yeah. And again, without any weak auras, I don't know how you would do it. Maybe we should do a challenge race on that, but right now we are focusing on getting this boss down at first. And this is also why both Scribe and Potter is so good, because they are a master in the weak aura department.
I don't have mining.
It's gonna be fun to see what kind of weak auras we see. Again, Scribe Cam, he's looking at his weak auras. Any adjustments is gonna be good, because there's no weak auras for this fight yet, on Mythic at least. So they need to come up with it.
I just want to point out very quickly that the 67.1% isn't necessarily the most accurate way of depicting how much progress they're actually making. For a few reasons. Firstly, the way the boss works is that it gets to a certain health point, and then it slams you with some more stuff, and then gets to another health point, slams you with even more stuff. So like, you find that the difficulty curve is like same difficulty, and then instant raise up. It's not like a smooth curve. It's like I'm just doing a weird snake with my hand. And secondly, as you've been pointing out a few times, all they're doing at the moment is pushing to get as far into the fight as they can.
Yeah.
They're not actually trying to kill the boss. They're wasting their cooldowns in all sorts of weird places, etc. Once they decide, okay, it's time to try and start to take down the boss, they're going to have to change their strategy entirely.
Yeah.
But going in with the knowledge of sort of how it works a little bit better, which means at that point you'll probably start seeing them wiping much, much, much earlier again. But then you'll see them hopefully slowly but surely get to that point where they can kill her.
Yeah. So Genji also said that that this comp they used last night was just a starter comp.
Yeah.
They just wanted to see how some of the mechanics actually worked, and they are gonna optimize it each time. And again, with the Resto Druid popping in, that's a small adjustment, and we might see some more down the road. And maybe if some of the other characters gets more gear after the split or after the reset, if she's gonna last to the reset, I don't know actually.
Oh well,
She will.
while I'm here.
Yeah. And of course, there's always
May as well
this
make my
talk about
Mechano
the
cat.
phase. And
Oh, there is, isn't there?
and each, I think each raid we hope for something new or something that really mixes it up. And I know on Jaina there was some small tweaks that
actually
made
gotta
the fight
find
like
a
a bit different.
Mechanic
Also
Cat
on Argus as well.
enthusiast.
But like a real secret phase, I think we need to go back to around Archimond, where you had to go into the twisting nether, and there was a whole other phase that weren't on any of the other fights.
Oh
Maybe
dear.
on Gul'dan and Nighthold as well in the demon form, but and I think for players sitting around for 12 minutes to reach that point and then a whole new phase occurs, it's gonna be fun, but still demotivating as well.
Well, it would be exciting because like I'm just imagining this situation where, you know, the players are down to 3%, 2%, 1%, they're cheering. Yes, we got it. They kill it. Oh no, we got some RP going on. What's happening here? New phase. Obviously frustrating as well. They think that they've just got the world first and then they just hit with that. However, you think that once they can take Azshara down once, hopefully they can then do that much again. You know, not many pulls after, and then they're going to start. And then just like with the rest of the boss, it's like pushing to that point. Let's see how this works, and then push a little bit further. Let's see how this works.
Okay. So
again,
there's only that one and that one that they're using
he has
those
just
two
opened
at the
his
moment.
Wegaros and checking for every
Or that I have the
simple
pattern for
little,
anyway.
things he can actually change. And since we have no voice comm, I don't know what he's looking for actually.
For anyone that isn't as familiar with
Oh,
World of
that
Warcraft,
needs a
why
new
don't you explain what a
ring.
weak aura is?
A Wegaros is an add-on for World of Warcraft, where you can make your own icon popping up when a certain thing happens in a boss fight. So if you have a trinket proccing, and you know if that trinket procs, you can do more damage.
Beats nothing.
And instead of looking up to the top right and see that little marker, you can have it pop up in the middle of the screen with a huge icon that says, now it's burst time, or whatever you actually designed it to do. But Scribe is using, or guilds are using it in a different way. So when Azshara uses an ability, like on the decree, it's gonna tell you what debuff you have and if you need to run, stand, or move.
It looks really complicated coding.
And I'm not a god in it either. I'm just look at the internet.
I equals 1, 20.
Yes. 200 IQ, yeah.
I'm just trying to understand this.
Concluding transaction.
Someone in chat explain the coding part of this to me, please. He's hacking Blizzard Packer. Yeah, after this little edit here, after he clicks done, a little save and a reset, Azshara's gonna go down like that.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
So, what about your Warcraft knowledge? Have you ever played the game?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I played it a lot when I was a lot younger. So I started playing just before the Burning Crusade came out. I think I started playing it then really shortly after TBC came out.
Yeah.
I played through the Burning Crusade, and I was, you know, I was a school kid. I played for a few hours at night. I was obviously a very casual. I played through Wrath of the Lich King, and I played through most of Cataclysm. I think I stopped playing towards the end of Cataclysm, and then tried to focus on work after that. But recently, a lot of the guys in chat know I'm a Hearthstone caster. A couple years ago, they released a skin in Hearthstone. They had to get to level 20 in World of Warcraft to get, and so that was, you know, I logged into World of Warcraft. It's free to play to level 20. I played for a few hours, and it's like, ooh, oh, this is really fun. And I ummed and ahed about getting myself some subscription time, and I decided, no, I can't fall down that rabbit hole. And then, you know, well, back this opportunity came up, and I dove back in. Did all the research and stuff, and now, unfortunately, I think I have gone too far down that rabbit hole, or fortunately, depending on your perspective.
Yeah.
But when I go home from this event, I've got some time off. I've essentially got some holiday time booked to spend with my girlfriend, and yeah, we're gonna be playing WoW. That's the holiday. She's a lucky girl.
I bet she is. And let's just catch up if the Chinese guild JTH actually got it. No? And no kills yet. Again, it could be fun. and also put a bit more pressure both on limit and method to actually see if 1 or 2 kills actually made it before the resets on Azshara.
So this is what they call scribe time, is it?
Yeah. So he's just changing a lot of stuff, and I.
Do any of you guys understand this?
Do you have a line of inquiry?
Sorry, I can't really explain everything that's going on right now.
No. I mean, I'm curious if we can.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. One person in chat says yes. Yes, I understand.
Hey, looking for work?
Okay.
Business is booming.
Chat is moving so fast, nobody will know I love men. Okay.
Now they do.
Wait, what the hell is he doing? So for anyone that just tuned in, this is Wikora. As Feisty was just explaining, it is a way of sort of, it's an add-on that allows you to code the game so that when X happens, Y pops up on your screen. And it's what you've been seeing. So like when a decree happens, for example, or a certain debuff, rather than having to mouse into the corner to see what it's doing, it's there front and center in the middle of the screen. And it would be very, very, very difficult to even attempt these bosses without Wikora.
Yeah, and when you take a look at Genji's screen,
do a print screen for limit.
yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah. So when we are seeing Genji's stream, he also has a weak arrow when and it tells him if he's in Moonkin form, because sometimes when it's pull like 301 you forget to actually go into Moonkin form.
Right.
Then you're doing a lot less DPS, so he needs a weak arrow to tell him, oh, you forgot this. Somebody also uses it if they need a certain buff, like food buff, etc. But mainly they use it for different kind of mechanics on a boss, or if you have a trinket or burst window, so you need to, you need to pull out every DPS you got left in you. And on the last pull, I actually didn't notice the bloodlust when they popped it, because I was so focused on the percentage. So we're gonna see it again if they're gonna save bloodlust at the beginning. And right now they know they can do it without bloodlust, so we're gonna see what time they're gonna use it, and especially on the kill, how they are gonna swap it up back then.
So Twitch chat tend to get pretty upset about some strange things, I'm gonna say, and right now they're very upset about your pronunciation of Gingy.
Okay.
They're like, it's not the Overwatch character. That's Genji. This is Gingy, Feisty.
Gingy.
There you go.
Okay, I'm just gonna call him Mike.
That works. That works. Like, they're very upset about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just glad that we're not casting the Chinese guilds then, because
because of pronunciation. I mean, that's easy. You don't even attempt to pronounce those names.
No, exactly. Gingy.
Now they're saying, who's Mike? 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 Who's Mike?
Yes.
Cockroach Mike?
Yeah, so there's both Preach Mike and Gingy Mike, and probably a whole lot of story about other Mikes as well.
There's lots of Mikes and lots of Martins. There's Dan and Darren, which sound very similar.
Yeah.
It's hard, chat. I know it's hard. And when we start mispronouncing things, it gets even harder. And you know, you just want to sit there and you just want to watch the stream. And we're making it difficult for you, and I'm sorry. I know that it's not ideal for you, but we do what we can.
Yeah, and right now on screen we can actually see one of the weak auras that he was missing his Arcane Intellect. It was popping up right in the center, then he got it, and now it's gone. So yeah, he's just looking at every other stuff, and that's also what you guys have been talking about all week. Like method is pulling like 2 to 5 times, stopping, talking things over, changing it up, and then go again. But we also saw limit just pulling through, like pull, and also a lot of the Chinese guilds are just okay, back on the horse. And we also saw that the Chinese guilds had the best try on Sakul was 10%.
Must be coming up soon.
Then the next try was not like 7 or 8, it was 1.5. So if you can get under 20% on Sakul and you have the mechanics under control, you can actually kill him.
Yeah.
So it's a hard encounter though. But
I mean, the problem that we saw from the previous attempt just before we started our shift was they couldn't quite get that last bit of damage in before that final shield and final ad phase happened, and
I was so close.
by that point a few of them were dead, and it was just not possible to take them down at that point.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying in the chat today that I sound like Harry Potter. Is that true? Is that true? Do you know what Harry Potter sounds like?
Yeah, I think you should be happy that you don't wear glasses. Actually.
What if I draw a scar on my forehead? Would that do it? Now everyone's saying not at all. Make your mind up, Twitch chat. We know you're a hive mind. Like, come on.
Nah, Harry Potter. No, you don't sound like Harry Potter.
Now we got the foreheads, all right.
You're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard, Dan. Yeah, so just a quick progress update. So again, limit is on 52.6% on Azshara, and method is on 67.1. But again, it's not. They all died, but they wanted to push it over. Pieces was around 10% on Sakul, and JTH, the Chinese guild, just got a 1.5%.
On that note, actually, while we are waiting, production, are you able to bring up the progress of all of the guilds, or do I need to grab that on my laptop? You want me to grab it? Okay, give me one moment. Trader.
And on the first day we saw Big Dumb Guild like pulling ahead, and then they have been stuck on Ashrain for a long time, and now they're stuck on Organzoa as well. So even though you have a quick start, again, like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
So at least they got some world first to put on the resume, but in the end, who kills Azshara is the big winner.
All right, if you could bring up my laptop very quickly before they start this poll. Here you go. Here we are on Raider.io. Limit Method, the only guilds currently 7 out of 8. But Club Camel, Pieces, Aversion, Fat Shark, yes, Jiten Hong, Alpha, and AFK are all sitting on Zakul. Zakul has been one heck of a wall.
Yeah. And Aversion is around 20%. Fat Shark, yes, again 20%. Sorsus 38, and Alpha. Alpha is also there, right? Yeah, Alpha is around 60% on Sakul.
Okay. Alright, let's bring the gameplay back, as I believe this pearl is just getting started right about now. Here we go.
Unless we got another video.
You get debated. I think we get debated.
Again, Method is talking or is not using comms on the stream, because there's a lot of stuff going on comms as well, and Limit is just using comms. They don't have anything to lose either, so only win. And I can't really say which is best or worse.
Well, Method are actually, they are using comms, but they're just muting them. So
oh yeah,
they're transmitting them. In some of the highlight videos that we've had, some of the first boss kills videos that we've had on YouTube, you can actually hear the player comms in those.
Yeah.
So they are being recorded.
It is.
It's possible that in future events we do use player comms. But we might mix it with the casting, so we might have the casters occasionally go, yo, let's jump in to see what they have to say right now.
Exactly.
But that's not something that we're going to have for this event. But it's something to think about for the future. It's a possibility. We know that player comms are very, very popular.
Huh.
Yeah, so we just started the pull counter, and Scribe is gonna push ready at 3 seconds, so we get the perfect pull timer. Yeah, I just saw some in chat. Yeah, Preach will be on at 3, and it's gonna be his last time.
It is. I never got the opportunity to cast with him this whole week. I'm quite disappointed by that, but Preachers are really, I mean, everyone here, genuinely, everyone here, really, really fun, great guys, all have been fun to hang out with. If you're a fan of Preach, Bay, or any of the guys here, just, rest assured, they are all wonderful people.
Yeah, he's going back because he needs to prepare for his PreachCon event. So again, we have pulled again no bloodlust here. The first Hulk is spawned, and okay, so actually Scribe just blinked over the beam. Now we know that. And the Hulk again goes down really quickly. Method has this part of the fight under control, and the lovers are getting separated, put back together all the time. We're soaking up these arcane orbs and just doing DPS. We see Gingy topping the meters as it is right now, but again, damage in the beginning is just damage.
Yep. I mean, this phase, I don't want to say the word easy, but this
Just gonna watch this pull and then I'll pretty much end the stream.
Slowly, let's get started. There's the charged spear targeting Revis there, you can see. Once again, that spear is sort of the most vital part of this fight, I feel, because if it hits one of these statues, that's as good as game over.
So we see this Hulk again getting stunned instantly and getting bursted down. Let's see if it gets... Oh, okay, the beam is just on the Hulk, so all the melee can't follow.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
So it did drain that ward a little bit there.
Yeah, I don't think we get another Hulk spawning before we get into the intermission. We'll see. And again, these pools are just... There's no real tactics for it right now. They're just gonna...
Yeah, but there might have to be in the future, depending on what the rest of this fight looks like, depending on what the laser grid looks like later on.
So perfect, we got 2 Hulks and then we're intermission. They stack together, so they either stand or run. And we see Scribe here, he needs to soak alone.
Suffer, soak, orbs, stand alone. Whew.
Yeah.
As the 3 decrees. Gotta do what the queen says.
Yeah, exactly.
And then kill her. There's an irony to that.
And the intermission is done. No one died. They got this sorted out perfectly. So we're gonna see phase 2 here, with the Azshara spawning, going straight to the middle and try to power down this ward here.
Is that a Chinese guild? No, this is Method right now. As we see Azshara slowly going down.
Yeah.
92%, very clean so far. Everyone's still alive.
And during this, okay, we see all of these ads spawning in, going straight to the middle, and they need to be stunned, and AoE down, and Method has so...
Oh.
Method has so much damage, so they die quite fast, but the beam just spawns right on top of them, and Scribe goes down.
That's really awkward. They need to work out what they're going to do about this beam, because this has become a bit of a recurring issue, as it's only Maurice that is dead at the moment, which is fine. You know, whoa, that laser beam's close.
Yeah.
Oh, that's close beam. All right, we're good. The meme beam. I like it. I like it. We should definitely call it that for the rest of this week. The meme beam.
Kick Scribe, yeah. No, I don't think they're gonna do that.
I'm absolutely calling it that from now on.
Yeah, so right now we're pushing 80%, 10% until the next intermission. So we're gonna pull Azshara around to these wards, so we can actually control what ward she's gonna power down. See this ad spawning in here?
Yeah.
And the beam just spawns straight on top of the raid, and 4 people go down.
Oof. Yeah, I think it's 3 dead at the moment, but that is going to change very soon.
Just wait, died. Yeah, he gets combat rest right away.
Queen Azshara on 76%, 2 dead at the moment. Okay, this is still okay.
Yeah.
It's still continuing as Scribe powering down that middle ward. Oh, I just blinked and missed that. What happened?
Yeah, so...
Did you see what happened there, Feist?
No, exactly.
You blinked and missed it as well?
Exactly.
They just suddenly died.
So, there's so many mechanics going on in this fight that... Like
oh, a rune died, apparently. According to Twitch chat.
Okay. Wonderful.
One of the runes died.
I didn't actually think that it would die that fast.
Ward, yeah, they were saying
well, ladies and gents, I'm going to end this stream here.
Yeah, so I think it was because
Also,
he just
as
died,
a note,
so they couldn't move the
my
shadow to
subscription's
the other room,
about
or
to
maybe
end
they were just
in
let's
a
see
couple of
how
days'
much
time.
damage the ward actually does.
I'm not
Just to
certain on whether I'm
test it out.
going to renew it.
Oh boy, yeah, they're gonna have to.
I will
They're
do
gonna have to really work
one
something
more
out about that
stream
meme. That is
before
thanks.
the
It would be. It would
end of my
almost be better
subscription, which
if it was
will
permanent.
announce whether I will
Because the
continue
fact that
on
it can just appear
or I
is
will
shocking.
end
There's
this.
like no
Yeah.
real warning for it. It's always
So,
gonna go
yes,
from one side to the other,
until
so it's
next
always
time,
gonna go through the middle.
I'll see you all in the next one.
That meme beam. TV Snack 69 down into 10.
If you liked the video, please feel free to give it a like. Likes help YouTube algorithm find similar content for your recommendations. Also, if you'd like, feel free to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications. This will help notify you when I release new content. Like always, I'll see you in the next one.